Hello, Sarah, could you speak English?
Hello, this is Tess from Sarah, WMT.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, one. Okay, Chen, go ahead.
Hi, Master.
Hello.
Hello. Could you talk about the fasting Dharma door, such as how fasting affect our body and the mind?
Okay.
How many times each year we supposed to do the fasting, and each time how many days? Better for each individual, and how do we recover from fasting, etc. Thank you.
Whoa, you want to know everything all at once. That's not how we teach people. We tell you a little bit, and you do it. Then you have more questions. It's like you ask all the questions you're supposed to ask. There's no need to cultivate anymore, no need to fast anymore. Okay, so I'm not going to answer them. But since I'm in a good mood, I answer some of the questions. Okay. Fasting. I answer in general for you. To be honest with you, I was never taught fasting. When I first learned about fasting, it was under Heng Chang, Master Hsu's disciples, when I was assisting him on teaching the young novices at Long Beach Monastery. And that's the first time I was exposed to the fasting Dharma. So the boys we were training, they were young novices, there were about a dozen of them. The so-called future of the DRBA, then they're called. And it turns out, after a few years later, 3 years later, they're all gone. But anyway, there goes the future. So I was watching how to do the fasting thing, and so to be truthful, the fasting there wasn't quite the way we do fasting now. Okay. Ours is it evolved over the years, because what happened is a lot of people could not meditate when they came to our chanchi, and it's too painful for them, so they considered fasting as an alternative to crossing the legs. Okay, they figured that since they're there, they might as well try to pretend to cultivate, and they couldn't take the pain. Too weak, what can I say? And so we said, if you need to do something in your time, you can try fasting. And so I started with the same instructions that I was taught at Long Beach Monastery. And over the years, as more people practiced and they got better results through fasting, we evolved our fasting Dharma into something unique. So it's not the same as the Chinese-style fasting dharma that was practiced at my master's temples, from as far as I know. So what is our fasting dharma? Fasting dharma, the philosophy is this. Are you sure you're going to hear this? You weak people. Huh? Are you sure? It's not very complimentary to you. Okay? We do fasting. Again, the basis of fasting are the people who do fasting here at our temple originally is because they're afraid of leg pains. So they fasted because it seems to be easier than enduring the leg pains. Okay? And it turns out that initially it was easier. The first day or two was easier. Third day it got a little bit harder. Fourth day is harder. And it gets harder and harder and harder. And if the longer you go, actually it hurts a lot more than the leg pains. Don't tell them that, okay? It's just between us. Okay? True or not? That's what happens. When you do the cross your legs, leg pains come quite quickly. Okay? However, fasting, it comes a lot slower, but actually it's now 24 hours a day, even though it's smaller in intensity, but it's 24 hours a day. And it's worse the following day, and worse and worse and worse. Okay? And so, in philosophy, fasting is a dharma that we work very well for our people because it's based on the same principle, folks. What is the principle? You endure the suffering without quitting. You can do it either through crossing your legs and endure it until your time is up, or you can do it by fasting X number of days and not quitting. It's the philosophy behind it. Okay? However, the nature of fasting dharma is quite different in that we only allow you to do fasting under supervision because it's rather dangerous dharma to practice. Meaning that if you fast for too long, your body might run out of juice and it could be hazardous to your health. That's why for us, a fasting dharma is something that's supervised. I stress, you can only fast at our temple under supervision. You're not supposed to fast at home. Are we clear on that? Okay? So every day when you fast here at the temple, we keep an eye on you to make sure you can continue. You can't, we stop you. Okay? So you build it up. You don't need to fast for 10 days or whatever. You need to build it up gradually, like sitting. You sit longer and a little bit longer, and a little bit longer. It's a lot safer. Okay? So the short answer is that it's under supervision only should you fast. At the temple, you have few outflows, therefore you can last longer. At home, you have a lot of outflows from your family, watching TV, all sorts of afflictions you're going to have. At the temple, it's a lot calmer, more quiet, and therefore you can last a lot longer. In particular, I'm warning you. A lot of people in the past fasted our temple, and then because their wives are very strict with them, shall we say, they said, "Why do you stay out at night? You have to go home." so that you have to come home. So they would drive home. And I said, no, you don't do that. Because when you drive during fasting, you could pass out while you're at the wheel. It's very dangerous, okay? So you don't want to cause an accident and hurt someone, including yourself. So that's why fasting you're better off doing at the temple. Determine a number of days. I would go slow, talk to the people at the temple. I go slow. I try first. If you want to try it out, try 3 days. Okay? 3 days is usually safe for most people. Okay? And then from there on, you build up to 4 days, 5 days, and so forth. My master's Dharma, Master Yeonghwa, he says the first cycle is 9 days for him. He used to fast a lot because he was practicing filial piety by his mother's grave when he was younger, and he was an unknown, so he had no food to eat. So he had to fast because he had no choice. Okay, and that's the spirit of Chan meditation right there. He fasted because he had no choice. But what happened is that even though he ran out of energy and strength, he didn't quit. That's the fasting Dharma. The nature of fasting Dharma is very similar to Chan because you don't quit. Okay? And that's why, unlike Chan, we need to keep an eye on you to make sure that you won't overdo it, okay? Some of my disciples are pretty gung-ho, pretty crazy, so I have to stop them, actually, in a few cases, okay? And so the fasting Dharma for us, in particular in our cases, you come to our temple, you do the fasting, actually is another form of a Chan practice. We turn that to a Chan practice. It's the same form of Chan training, although it's not the same as in crossing a legs, enduring the legs. Our Chan training is a lot more than just crossing a legs. Okay, our Chan training, the philosophy is that: are you willing to endure suffering? Are you scared of taking a beating? Are you willing to suffer, okay, and not quit? Are you willing to do those things? That is Chan training, okay? And again, so the short answer is yes, it's a form of Chan training for us. Well, actually, a lot of our people during the Chan Chi would choose to fast because it's easier for them, and invariably, I notice it's like virtually everyone improved, which is the purpose of our Chan training, is to help you improve. Okay, virtually everyone who endured the fasting improved the level, which is speaks so highly of those people who tried. They really are warriors. All right, does it answer the questions? Did I answer the questions? Yeah? Nay?
Yes, thank you, Master.
Well, that's called answering without answering. Yes, Tech, JMTBLI.
Master, you mean JC, right?
Yeah.
This question came from Kim Hwa-jun, the Catholic guy. 사라님, 지금 읽기 시작할게요. 네, 1번입니다. 저번 본문에서 대기와 체를 언급하셨는데 그 그 뜻은 사람마다 도달할 수 있는 선정력 레벨이 한정돼 있다는 뜻인가요? 두 번째, 선정력과 과의 둘 중 어느 것이 더 중요한가요? 만약 선정력만 높아도 주변에 좋은 영향을 줄 수 있는 것인가요? 네, 이 두 가지 질문입니다.
Well, since I improved again.
네, 잠시만요.
No, I wasn't talking about the other one. I'm talking about you. I can tell from your voice.
Thank you, Master.
Congratulations. I need to see your face before I can confirm it. Never mind. I'm curious, that's all. That's all she wants to show me, 3 seconds of her face.
네,
On 720p resolution.
Master, this question is from the Catholic guy, the young man. There are 4 questions, and then we'll start with the 2 first questions. Number 1, last Dharma talk, Master, you mentioned about great potential and substance. Does that mean there is a limitation for each individuals to reach certain samadhi level? That's first question. Number 2, what is more important between samadhi power versus high samadhi level? I'm sorry, Master. Actually, there's 3 questions here. The third one, if someone has high samadhi level, is he going to give a positive influence to his close personnel?
Close personnel, who's close personnel?
Anybody near him, someone with a high samadhi level.
I see. Okay, first question is, again?
It's about great potential and substance. When you mentioned about last week about this too, does this mean that there is a limitation for each individual to reach certain samadhi level?
Yes. Substance refers to your true substance, your fundamental substance, which is your Buddha nature. So, for example, in a Chan language, when the master talks about substance, you attain substance, great substance, that means that someone is enlightened. Great potential, and there's a difference between potential and great potential. From my perspective, please be careful because I'm not from the Chinese training tradition, if you will. You need to be careful, especially Chinese people are laughing at me and saying, you Asian people, this guy is not really Asian. He looks Asian, but he didn't think like an Asian. Guilty as charged. Okay? I look like Asian, but I'm not Asian. So, the way that I look at the Chinese great teachers when they talk to each other and train their students, I see a distinction between potential and great potential. Okay, potential refers to your capacity. That's for analogy or simplicity. Okay, potential is like the size of your container. How much can you contain? How much can we fill you up? Okay, and so that is your current limitations. Okay, and when the Chinese masters talk about great potential to me, and again I caution you, because Master Xinhua never directly taught me, and I never could ask him questions. I came too late. Okay, And none of his disciples asked him questions, or he didn't discuss these concepts either. But as I looked at the way that the great Chinese teachers taught their disciples, and I look at my disciples, I see a difference between potential and great potential. That's why I explain it based on my interpretation. It's not necessarily consistent with the Chinese teachers. So please bear with me, okay? Give me, tolerate my stupidity. I'm probably going off from the great Chinese master's perspective because I'm very limited, okay? But potential to me is your capacity. As a teacher, I look at how much can I fill you up. When it gets to the brim, there's no point in continuing because it overflows, it's a waste of my time, and you get afflicted. So potential to me is how much can you absorb? And great potential is that can I convince you to go much higher than what you are currently capable of? Because I know the difference between potential and great potential is you, it's not me. I'm willing to fill you up, but you're not willing to receive. What can I do? Okay, so great potential is that I look at you and said, why aren't you enlightened? To me, that's great potential. Great potential is your greatness. You're going to be so great. Why do you settle with so little? I don't get it. Okay, so I see great potential. For example, recently I saw people and I said, wow. Great potential. Seriously, I said, wow. It's part of my fun in my teaching is that I see people, occasionally I have a flash. I remember driving my people around in my old van, and I say, wow, 4th stage Arhat. Oh, wow, 4th ground Bodhisattva. Wow. It's like the flashes, they happen just like that. And if you will, that's the only thing that interests me, 4th stage Arhat or much, much higher. That's what I call great potential. Okay, question number 2.
Between samadhi power versus attainment level. That means 4 stage, 1, 2, 3, 4 stage Arhat to above.
Difference between samadhi power and what?
Attainment level.
Attainment level. Okay. In the world I know, in the world I aspire to belong to, okay, it's only samadhi power. We don't measure in terms of your height, the thickness of your wallet. Okay, and that's a joke, American joke. It's like he was someone was dating a Jewish guy, okay, and her friend says, but he may be handsome, but he's rather short. So she replied, wait until he stands on his wallet. He's a lot taller than you think. Never mind. Yeah. You Asians don't like Jewish jokes. I see that now. Okay. See, only the girls laugh. The men are, come again? You have to be Jewish. You have to be short for you to appreciate the joke. And a man, never mind. Okay. Where was I again? So to me, it's not. It's not what really matters. That you cannot fake is your samadhi power, your samadhi level. Okay? No one can fake it. You can fake all they want. Eventually, we will catch up with them. In a China world, there's no point trying to pretend to be a Chan master, which is like a lot of Chan masters, unaccomplished masters, pretend to walk around. Hey! You should be scared of me. You should respect me. And it's so anti-Chan, because the higher your samadhi level, you know what happens? The more flexible you become. You're no longer rigid. Does it make sense? In fact, as your samadhi level increases, something happens to your body. You become more flexible. You know that? Your flexibility increases. So for example, if the yogis who practice yoga, anyone practices yoga? Pilates? I don't care. Okay. The yogas are proud, the Pilates are proud of the fact they're more flexible than us. Not so. Ultimately, them people reach their peak, our peak is still higher, further, and therefore our bodies actually are a lot more flexible than they realize. Okay? So the real status in to me, what I found out is your samadhi level. You in the universe, your samadhi level is really the true ranking in terms of status. Here in our world, we ranked by I don't know, by money, by position, and so forth. The only position that matters in our world, in the universe, throughout the universe, is samadhi level. Okay? And why do I say that? Because when the Buddha teaches, it is so insightful, it's so greatly beneficial that people would come to listen. And because the entire universe wants to come and listen, there's an order where actually those who sit closer, okay, the big wigs would be able to sit like you, close to the Buddha. And then you have an order. The big wigs, the bigger ones have sit closer, and then further away are the lower level, and then there's only standing room way back there. Okay, so that's a status that is determined by their samadhi power. Okay, the highest ones get to sit. Master Xuanhua, for example, gets to sit. In the Lotus days, when the Buddha speaks the Dharma, his disciples, his best ones I've seen, would be allowed to stand. If they want to get close to the Buddha, they have to stand by the Buddhas, by Master Xuanhua, surround Master Xuanhua and his retinue. But they cannot sit on their own. You understand? Because it's privileged position. The samadhi level of those people who are sit near the Buddha are incredible. Okay? And I can think one of his disciples can sit all the way in the back there. That's it. Only one. The rest of them has to stand. That's how it is in our world. And that's when you attend like the Avatamsaka Sutra assembly, that's where you see who's who. There's no denying it, because all the bigwigs get to sit and you get to stand at best. Okay, and that's ranked by samadhi level. Is it enforced? You bet. Their enforcers, hey, you! Why is that? Because you're too noisy. He's too noisy. He was it? He fidgets. He makes noises. He moves. You know. He makes noises. You know. Mom. Okay. In the Buddha assembly, you sit still, adorned like a statue. Did you learn something today, huh, boy? You see, in our world, there's no beating around the bush. And you know, people like who don't deserve to be there, and they try to sit close to the Buddha, and they're kind of kicked around a little bit. One Vasha spirit will kick that person, kick him. He roll around a little bit in the next level, and then the next Vasha spirit says, "You don't belong here." Kick him again. Gently, of course. We don't hurt boys. Next question.
네, 마지막 질문입니다.
스님, 선정력만 높아도 주변에 좋은 영향을 줄 수 있는지 그 질문이 있는데요.
네, 죄송합니다.
아닙니다. So if someone has high samadhi level, just itself, is that going to help people around him? I'm sorry, samadhi power.
I hate this when people ask me a question that forces me to answer before I want to speak about it. I was planning to talk about this, when I'm in Korea. How can I answer this? I don't know about you. Can I speak about myself? Huh? The other day I went to Gold Forest, and I'm at Gold Forest. It's old age. What can I say? And I was eating lunch, and it happened to be that they warned that many monks and officials around. So Sangwok Sunim happened to sit next to me, which is rare. I can't think of the last time she was able to sit right next to me. Right next to me. Okay? It was a long, long time ago, at least last year, I'd say, that she was able to sit next to me, but I said, too noisy. You know what I mean, boy? Too noisy. I hate it when I eat lunch and someone sits next to me and it's like radio broadcasting. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. So anyway, the other day, Sangwok Sunim was sat next to me, and I say, "Whoa, what happened to the radio? It's been turned off." And I said, so I started paying attention. Wow, something else. She's actually happy. Have you seen a short person who's happy? How often do you see a short person who's happy? Right now? The boy is offended, isn't it? Yeah, you got kicked around by the Vajra spirit, then you know what it is, how it feels like. I was kicked by a Vajra spirit once, by the way. I was offended. So You think that they don't mean business? They are very ferocious. They surround the guard. Their job is to enforce orders. Okay? There's a certain order, a certain protocol. If you violate them, they don't hesitate to tell you, to show you who's the boss. So anyway. Actually, I had fun when I was kicked. I said, wow, really? You Buddhists are so violent. I thought I'm the only one who's violent. Actually, the more violent I am, I never kicked anyone before, except for boys. Anyway, so I said, well, Sangwok Sunim actually is happy inside. This is